Hey, welcome back to more Season 11 BS. I'm Ferrikster. And last week, no, 2 weeks ago, because I missed last week, 2 weeks ago, I posited the challenge to play through the Little Cup with no Bronzor and no Bronzor killing things, like fire, ground, and dark types. And to send me some full complete positive sets with those teams, and yeah. Community responded, and these are those games, and some of them honestly are such sick games, and this series in particular that I'm starting with I think was really funny. Based on the queue times that IHSB has provided, because he didn't start recording at, when the battle started, just recording the entire set in one video. I can estimate that if there were a leaderboard active, these would probably be getting played at, like, I don't know, somewhere between page 6 and 10. So these are being played pretty high up. Could be as low as, like, I guess the top 1,000 or so. If fewer people were playing Little Cup than I would assume they were, just based on queue times, and with me assuming that most people are playing Little Cup. So this is actually being played really high. I am able to skip ahead to where the battles start because I have notes on when these battles begin. Actually, this one starts up in about 10 seconds. So I'll skip ahead for the future ones. But yeah, sorry I did not release a video last week. Between Easter and taxes, I'm not retired or anything. I just did not have time. Was super busy. But let's hop into this first game. So, IHSB is opening with Seal, and in the back he has Shelmet and Cottony. Cottony obviously is really, really terrible against Bronzor, so it's totally up to Shelmet and Seal to pull their weight through and to make that work. So, opponent is going to switch out into a Seal of their own. And IHSB is just going to kind of throw whatever he can with Shelmet. Doesn't need to shield this Icy Wind. The licks do sort of substantial damage, but Shelmet overall is pretty tanky. So it doesn't really have to be too concerned. Gonna spam out this Body Slam. It's gonna bring the Seal down very low. This is gonna be kind of a dangerous farm down. Infestation really doesn't do that much damage. It's not a fast move pressure Pokemon. Nevertheless, gonna shield this Aqua Tail, and looks like he's going for it. Is he gonna make it just barely able to hang on? Has about like a HP finished working its way down to about a half a pixel. Shelmet now going to be able to throw this Bug Buzz, which is going to hit Bronzor for neutral, but after being debuffed, really doesn't do that much. Bronzor's defense falls, which definitely helps. Gonna bring out Seal. Seal is really the only answer remaining to Bronzor. Gonna stay in for a bit, and yeah, as Bronzor is reaching his 5th Confusion, which would be for a payback or I guess a heavy slam bait, if that's the way. If this Bronzor is running Psyshock, then it's slightly less good for Seal. I'm gonna shield this, and it turns out to be a payback. Hopefully the Cottony will have use against whatever's in the back, and definitely does, because there's a Dino back there. Actually, I think this Dino was what was in the lead before. I may have been talking at the beginning of this battle and missed that. But yeah, Cottony gonna eat 1 Body Slam and Charm Dino down. It only takes 3 charms with the double weakness to Fairy and Little Cup Pokemon who are not Bronzor being generally kind of squishy. So yeah, Cottony gonna throw this Seed Bomb. Gets a shield from Bronzor. Normally you'd be throwing Grass Knot, but he only really needs to throw a Seed Bomb here. Might actually be able to charm Bronzor down. At this point, Bronzor really kind of had to commit and go for a farm down, or make the decision to not go for the farm down and throw something way earlier. At this point, Bronzor is super, super low. Seal's just going to be able to lick the whole way down. Bronzor might have been able to take Seal out if he was able to throw a Psyshock with a bunch of confusions, but honestly, I think that at that point, IHSB kind of had it. So I am not going to sit through the tremendous queue times that IHSB has, because I did take notes of when this is. Next battle is at 10:51. Would be right around there. This is such a long recording. I used to have to sit through queue times like this all the time when I was playing. I'm taking this season much more casually, and I am no longer acclimated to this. So, Bronzor in the lead, that's definitely where you want to see it. The opponent safe swaps Dino, which isn't really that safe of a swap. Cottony comes out, charms it down in 3 charms. Dino doesn't even get off a body slam. And Bronzor's going to come out, and this is okay. If timed out kind of well, like this Bronzor could be throwing a heavy slam, which would do tremendous damage, but more likely than not, it ends up being a Psyshock. As long as Cottony is careful not to let Bronzor sneak in a full confusion, after farming down a Dino, Cottony should be able to reach 2 Grass Knots just barely, assuming the IVs are good, and again, assuming you switched in very, very quickly. Gonna be really close here, able to get to this Grass Knot. 1 turn later, actually, the damage from that confusion would register and KO. So this Grass Knot is really being thrown at the absolute last second before Cottony faints. Able to get Bronzor down even lower, which definitely helps to put it in a safe lick down range for Seal. Bronzor, after throwing 1 Psyshock, does get to farm Cottony the whole way down, ends with a ton of energy. 1 Psyshock comes in. IH slips in a couple of licks. Slips in some licks. Oh my gosh. Word choices. And then is going to switch out into Stunky. So this is fine for Shelmet. Shelmet's Infestation is going to be hitting for neutral, and Shelmet overall is a pretty tanky Pokemon, so definitely something you'd want to be able to survive the bite damage, the fast move bite pressure from a Shadow Stunky. Gonna go straight Body Slam. Bug Buzz also hits for neutral, just like Body Slam does, and Bug Buzz would one-shot. But after all of the infestations you're going to get in the 2 shield with Stunky, 1 Body Slam is kind of enough. Unfortunately for IH, the opponent does get the defense drop with that Crunch, so that is going to put on a little bit more pressure onto Shelmet. Going to throw that second Body Slam, picks up the last shield, only really needs to make it to a Body Slam here to bring the Stunky low enough that it doesn't really, that Seal would be able to lick the rest of the way down. If the Stunky's IVs are not great, this would actually KO. Not quite able to make it. If that infestation went through, actually would have been a simultaneous KO. So if he had denied an extra bite or so, then, you know, maybe could have gotten the last infestation through. But as it is, doesn't matter. As long as Stunky's not going to be able to reach another charge move, this is in the bag, and the opponent resigns the game, clearly nowhere near the next Crunch. So that is a GG. Very well played. And now let me scroll ahead. This one's actually not such a long wait. It's 15:01. Next opponent up against J. Robin Stacks. Shout out to JRS, fellow streamer on Twitch. Seal into Igglybuff. Igglybuff, not a super common Pokemon to see. Running Feint Attack for its fast move, and do you know what Igglybuff knows as its charge moves? Just off the top of your head without looking, like, are you familiar? Because IH was definitely not familiar. Opts to no shield here, and Igglybuff throws a wild charge. Seal goes down, absolutely one-shotted. A little bit of a pause while IH tries to collect himself. Gonna send out Shelmet. The opponent fast swaps into Bronzor. IH responds by panic swapping into Cottony and promptly resigns the game. That is a GG. Yeah. When IH submitted these sets, he described it as, well, I played these 2 first games, and they went pretty well. And then the next set, I got Omega Boomed by something a move that I did not know the opponent had. So I was just wondering, yeah, if anyone else here knew off the top of their head that Igglybuff learns Wild Charge. Because I had long since forgotten, because I haven't seen an Igglybuff since the first iteration of Little Cup. It's just not that common of a Pokemon, because it is very expensive. And it can learn, you know, a fairy move. It can learn Hyper Beam. That's kind of the more normal set. But Wild Charge, it's in there. So he actually stopped recording after being demoralized. So let me pass ahead to this next video and then find the next game at 1:13. Major props to IH for coming clean about why there was a break in the videos. I would have totally accepted the excuse, well, the video was kind of long, so I stopped recording. But yeah, the way he described it, it was just too funny not to relay the story behind why this particular video was sent in 2 parts. I didn't specifically ask. I didn't think it was suspicious at all when it came in 2 parts. But he volunteered the information, so I felt I would pass it along. It was good. So the opponent here swaps into a Seal, so IH is going to stay in with Seal. Doesn't actually throw any of his energy because he's going to switch out into his Cottony and farm down. This is kind of a safe move to let the Icy Wind go. It's going to debuff Cottony, but you'll still be able to charm down after all that lick damage softened up Seal so much in the first place. Doesn't need to throw anything either, just going to charm the whole way down. Able to just barely make it before Seal reaches an Aqua Tail. And it's pretty good to at least leave Cottony pretty low when they're in that safe swap. Like, leaving it with, like, half health just gives it a lot of farm if a Bronzor is to come out. Bronzor, obviously, very common in Bronzor Cup. So yeah, you know, leaving it without the ability to get farmed down by Bronzor is, I definitely think, a good move. Gonna bring his own Seal back out now, and gonna throw this Aqua Tail. Hit Sandshrew for neutral. The opponent then switches into a Dino. IH was trying to switch out right away to Shelmet, which would definitely be a good move, but switch timer wasn't quite up yet, so just going to spam out this Icy Wind. That is fine, too. Gets the shield and also debuffs Dino, which doesn't actually, I think, after one debuff, it doesn't actually reduce the Dragon Breath damage on Shelmet, but it does slightly reduce the amount that the charge moves will be doing. So correctly shielding the Crunch on the first that the Dino threw right away. I guess Dino probably fishing for a debuff. That's probably one of their only win conditions. IH gonna throw this Body Slam. This would be almost enough to take Dino out at this point. Dino pretty squishy, and Body Slam, pretty efficient move. Can definitely no-shield this now that he's done that damage. Dino will faint after this Infestation lands, doesn't shield the debuffed Body Slam, and is able to throw another Body Slam right away at this Alola Shrew that comes back out. Alolan Sandshrew also kind of squishy, so even though this Body Slam is resisted, would be enough to take Sandshrew out. Gonna shield that, build up some extra energy, but yeah, Shelmet able to outpace. Gonna throw this Body Slam, and that is gonna take out the Alolan Sandshrew. That is a GG. Very good recovery. We are at 3-1 so far in this set. And the next battle, let me scroll ahead to 8:14. This is like a 5-minute queue time. Yeah, if I had to guess, definitely top 1,000. These games are being played pretty high. So here we go. Seal into Shadow Vulpix. So Shadow Vulpix, very strong against the backline. Not as much so because this one is running Quick Attack, which is my personal preferred set with Vulpix, although in this cup I have to say there's a lot of merit to the decision to use Ember. Gonna switch out, and yeah, I'm opting to throw the Icy Wind at the debuff this Seal before doing anything else. I'm gonna stay in now and build up some energy again. I guess gonna kind of wait, hoping that Seal is going to dump their energy at some point. Builds up to back-to-back Aqua Tail. Now the Seal is going to throw its move. No need to shield this, since Seal resists all of Seal's moves. Ends up throwing the Icy Wind to debuff, and yeah, now after building up a little bit more energy to be absolutely certain that he's got back-to-back, gonna switch out into his Cottony, and yeah, gonna charm this Seal the rest of the way down. Gonna eat this Icy Wind, not really that big of a deal, since the Seal was already debuffed. Really does noticeably less damage. Gonna charm some more, and yeah, even if this is another Icy Wind, because that Seal was already debuffed, it's not going to be enough to take him out. Doesn't need to shield. Turns out just to be an Aqua Tail, so definitely a good no shield. Vulpix's gonna come out and gonna be able to farm Cottony the whole way down if it wanted to. Oh wait, nope, sorry, it's Quick Attack. Gonna have to throw energy. Opts to throw the Body Slam, which is an unusual decision. It's giving, like, there's no real reason to bait with Vulpix, right? Body Slam and Weather Ball cost exactly the same. And yeah, Weather Ball with Stab would have fainted the Cottony and been able to save the opponent a shield. I guess the opponent just wanted to be able to farm down a little bit. or maybe was expecting IH to try to make a catch or something. I'm not really sure. Either way, going to be able to throw that Aqua Tail. Barely survives the next Quick Attack that snuck through, and able to spam out this next Aqua Tail. Next Quick Attack not going to land, and yeah, that's going to fade the Vulpix. 2 shields against 0. Shelmet going to be brought out into a Barboach. Barboach is okay against Shelmet, but down 2 shields is really nothing the opponent can do here. And this is too early to even be an Ice Beam, so this would more normally have been an Aqua Tail. But it turns out to be a Mud Bomb, which is resisted. So I guess the Barboach was in fact running Mud Bomb Ice Beam. So yeah, after no shielding that, the opponent resigns the game, and IH manages to take that last game with a 2 shield flex, tying up this set for a nice clean 4-1. Yeah, very, very well played. Very high level games. Yeah, and gets a Metatite as a reward. So that's what it is. All right, this next set by R to the oldie. Oh, I want to show you the names of his. So Lil Moly, Lil Pump, and Lil Yachty. I don't understand R to the oldie's naming scheme. But those names just strike me as those are very cute. So Lil Moly, up against a Dino in the lead. So this is a fantastic lead for Lil Moly. Opponent is going to switch out into an Alolan Sandshrew. Exactly what Lil Moly is. Yeah, and Lil Moly going to throw the Night Slash before swapping out into Lil Yachty, the Seal. So Seal going to be able to lick the opponent's Lil Moly the whole way down. I'm just going to call the Pokemon by their names. There's no way this is sustainable. Ends up eating a Night Slash. The opponent gets a boost. So unfortunate. That does mean that R to the oldie is going to have to shield here. We wouldn't want Lil Yachty to faint from a boosted Night Slash. That would be uncool. Lil Yachty, so cute. We don't want to see him go down like that. Licks the opposing Sandshrew the whole way down and ends with some energy. Oh, I should have really resized this. There we go. That looks about right. So going to throw this Icy Wind against the opposing Dino. Might be able to reach one more if the opponent doesn't throw anything, and he doesn't. So yeah, Lil Yachty able to make it to the next Icy Wind. Which is going to either KO or force the last shield. Opponent decides to just let it go and brings out a Bronzor. And we are going to see Lil Pump come out, and yeah, as much as Drifloon being a ghost type should be, pretty strong against a psychic type, actually doesn't have the strongest game against it, just because Bronzor is just so thick, and yeah, Confusion kind of does a really oppressive damage. R to the oldie going to switch Lil Moly in to catch a Payback, which hits for neutral, but still honestly hits really hard. Alolan Sandshrew, not the thickest Pokemon, but does resist the Confusion, so that definitely helps a lot. Going to be able to throw these super effective Night Slashes. Doesn't do that much damage to Bronzor, Bronzor being just so ridiculously thick. But yeah, able to reach another Night Slash. This is going to put Bronzor very, very low. Bronzor does have quite a bit of energy, though, so if they're able to unload enough energy onto onto Drifloon, then would actually be enough. Yeah, Drifloon not able to sneak in a Hex, but that's alright. Still have a shield, so just going to shield this first Payback. It would actually KO from this range. And yeah, just going to throw one Hex and able to take out the Bronzor, and that is a GG. Manages to take that first game. All right. Oh, wait, I don't have any notation on how long it takes to... Okay, I guess this is just a fast queue. All right, next up against Peo, 0402. Lil Moly against Wooper. This is a terrible matchup for Sandshrew. So R to the oldie going to switch out into Drifloon. And the opponent switches out into a Meowth. Sorry, a Alolan Meowth? Wait, Galarian Meowth? Alolan Meowth? I'm pretty sure that's an Alolan Meowth. Right? I'm pretty sure that's Alolan. If it turns out to be Galarian or something, fine. But yeah, into some non-Kanto Meowth. Which ends up just kind of feint attacking Drifloon the whole way down, able to throw some nice Night Slashes against the Sandshrew. Sandshrew going to throw a Night Slash of its own. Night Slash going to be resisted by Alolan Meowth. I'm 90% sure that's Alolan. But still does kind of substantial damage. Even without stab, Meowth is just super, super squishy. Oh my gosh, that was Bite. I don't know why I thought it was Feint Attack earlier. Sorry. No game sounds. It's harder for me to identify... I identify fast moves by their sound. So I'm not used to having to identify them just by looking. It's harder for me. Even though Bite is really obvious because it's literally like Toofs. So yeah, we're going to throw this Body Slam up against Seal. Seal pretty tanky, but decides to shield anyway, and the opponent's Alolan Sandshrew is going to come out. This is fine. Seal going to be able to throw these Aqua Tails. Those are going to hit for neutral, and it hits Shadow Sandshrew really, really hard. Yeah, going to be able to lick the whole way down. That Sandshrew could definitely have thrown a Night Slash if they wanted to. Maybe he was trying to build to something bigger. But I feel like the normal set for Sandshrew is a Gyro Ball and Night Slash. So Night Slash would have been the right move anyway. Not too sure what they were building towards. But regardless, Wooper not going to be able to reach a charge move. Just going to get licked down after that Aqua Tail. R to the oldie. Manages to take that game. That is GG. On to this next game. Next up against... Hello? 7-11 Dean. Alright. Sandshrew into Lotad. So Lotad is pretty expensive. Not like level 50 expensive. I think I said that at some point a few videos ago. Actually, it only needs to be like level 40 or 41 or 42 if the IVs are really good. So expensive, but, you know, there's more expensive Pokemon, like XL Bronzor. Gonna switch Drifloon into the Lotad. Lotad doesn't really have a great way of taking out Drifloon. Like, it can learn Ice Beam. I think. 90% sure about that. But this was way too early, so it was definitely just a Bubble Beam. Going to reduce Drifloon's attack. And then the opponent is going to switch out into a Water Gun Ducklet. Which is... I guess given the meta, I guess that actually is fine. Like Water Gun, at least, you know, would hit Bronzor for neutral. I don't know. I guess that's fine. I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of Ducklets in my own battles of Little Cup, but, like, you know, sure, it makes some sense here. Gonna no shield, and it is another Bubble Beam. Possible the opponent is going for some kind of mass debuff strategy between Bubble Beaming from the Lotad and now Bubble Beaming from Ducklet. R to the oldie, not really looking to shield Bubble Beams anymore, so no shields this second one, and yeah, it just turned out to be another Bubble Beam bait. So, very, very debuffed. Gonna throw an Aqua Tail here. After 2 debuffs, I'm not even sure if this will be able to KO, to be honest. Like, Ducklet is pretty thick. Seal doesn't hit that hard to begin with, and with 2 debuffs, it's... yeah, actually ends up having to lick down afterwards. Opponent still has 2 shields, and 2 Pokemon, sort of. Gonna bring Lotad out, and then swaps out into Cottony. Cottony is going to be resisting the Night Slashes, but since Sandshrew is going to resist the charms, and these Powder Snows are going to do kind of a lot of damage. Actually, the Charm and Powder Snow are about doing similar damage, even though the Powder Snow is super effective, and the Charm is resisted. Charm is a very strong move. All the same, Sandshrew able to outpace, going to throw this next Night Slash. Gets a shield off of Cottony, which actually was necessary from the Cottony. I think it would have fainted him at that point. Went down with a move, but this Cottony is pretty low and doesn't have that much energy, so Seal going to be able to shield this. Seed Bomb, which would do devastating damage if it were to land, and yeah, just going to be able to lick the whole way down, and yeah, should be able to lick down the Lotad no problem, but going to throw this Icy Wind anyway, just to reduce the damage from the 2 or 3 Razor Leaves that might come through. Oof, ended up being 4 because one of them was snuck. But yeah, Art the Oldie managed to take that game. That is a GG. So that is a 3-0 that we are at so far. This little team definitely not letting Art the Oldie down. Next up against Lord Gloom 3. I guess the other 2 Lord Glooms were already taken. So, Sandshrew into Bronzor. This is actually okay for Sandshrew. Like, even though Sandshrew is resisting the confusions, like, you can see how much they're actually doing, really chunking down. Sandshrew is going to be able to outpace pretty easily, though. Going to throw this first Night Slash. Gets a shield off of Bronzor, which is kind of reckless. Like, when you're playing as the Bronzor, you definitely don't want to shield the first couple of Night Slashes. You know, like, what if Little Moly gets the boost? Then the Night Slashes would actually hurt. Whereas right now they do about a third. So, force a shield this Psyshock. If you don't seal the Psyshock, it actually puts Sandshrew so low that kind of just get confusioned down. Opponent is going to safe swap into their Seal, and yeah, Heart of the Oldie going to respond by sending out a Seal of his own. Going to get Icy Winded first. Unfortunately, that's what happens when you counter swap Seal into Seal. You're just going to get outpaced to the Icy Wind. So now this Icy Wind is going to do a little bit less than the opponent's Icy Wind, and if Lick is to reach some kind of a break... Oh my gosh, wait a minute. This Seal isn't using Lick. This Seal is using Water Gun. Which is actually a legacy move for Seal. So, interesting that the opponent has that. I guess they really, really wanted it, so they felt that it was worth spending the charge TM on it. This does make the Seal versus Seal matchup actually quite bad for Water Gun Seal. Water Gun Seal is pretty interesting. There's a couple of things, but I just feel like Lick probably makes more sense in this meta because, like, what is the Water Gun doing? Like, Lick is super effective against Bronzor. Lick is neutral against, like, Cottony. Water Gun is resisted there. Water Gun and Lick are both resisted by like, Dino. So I guess that doesn't make much of a difference. I don't know the thought process behind spending the Elite TM to give your Seal Water Gun, but I guess it makes it interesting. And making things interesting... You know, anything that makes things interesting in this season, I'm a fan of. So, yeah, let me just not bash on it and just accept that it is what it is, because that's how tautologies work. And, yeah, I'll just appreciate that effort was put in. Also, the opponent has a Poochyena in the back, which I think is awesome. I ran Poochyena for quite a few sets of Little Cup myself, and it was really fun to use. I only ran it because I had one already made, and it costs like 400,000 dust to build. Like, it's not cheap. Mine was a Shadow, so it was more expensive. This one probably costs about 300,000 dust because this one's non-Shadow. All the same, Poochyena able to do an awful lot of damage. The Snarl actually puts on fast move pressure, which is, like, weird. Like, look at how much that Snarl is doing. It's doing actual damage. So, this is a crunch. From Poochyena, it actually does a lot of damage. And, yeah, actually able to Snarl almost the whole way down. But, yeah, Poochyena, so spammy, able to reach Poison Fang. I feel terrible. I'm, like, rooting for Poochyena against Liliati and Little Pump and Little Moly, but after playing Poochyena for Little Cup and not seeing anyone else doing it, it's honestly pretty refreshing and fun to see someone else using it and destroying somebody, even though the person who's getting destroyed is, like, my people. Like, I need to be rooting for my own viewers. So yeah, that was a GG. Next up, Sandshrew into Cottony. This is a fantastic-ish lead. I guess it's not actually that fantastic. Sandshrew could really use some kind of a coverage move for situations like this. Just going to build up to the Gyro Ball as though he's got it, and now going to bait the Night Slash. See if the opponent goes for it, and it does. The opponent is fooled by the bait. So now just going to spam out the next Night Slash because it'd be tough for Sandshrew to get to another move. And the Night Slash, honestly, with the little chip damage that it does, is kind of enough. Arch the Oldie now going to Mirror Shield since he got a shield out of the opponent. Can shield this Seed Bomb. Double Night Slash takes Cottony out anyway, so I guess you really don't need the Gyro Ball that badly. Able to Powder Snow the whole way down, so ending with some energy. The opponent sends out a Litleo, and yeah, one Fire Fang, definitely enough. Oh my gosh, that's actually an Ember. Again, no game sounds. I can't tell what the fast moves are sometimes. So yeah, the opponent is going to swap out into their Bronzor, and Art the Oldie going to respond by sending out Lil Yachty. Lil Yachty going to take a payback, and then yeah, get swapped out into Drifloon. Kind of a dangerous matchup for Drifloon, especially because we've already seen payback. I'm going to build up to and then throw the Shadow Ball. So if the opponent wants to throw their move, they're going to have to shield this first. I definitely think this is the right choice. Like if the opponent shields, you Mirror Shield. And if they don't, then that's fine. Unfortunately, Litleo is going to come out. And Litleo is actually kind of a wall to Little Pump. Drifloon, all of their moves are either single or double resisted by Litleo. The Icy Wind single resisted, but still does actually kind of a lot. The opponent could definitely have farmed the whole way down, but I guess had lost track of energy. So I'm going to throw this Flame Charge, boost their own attack. Seal going to come out, and this Seal is loaded with energy. So going to throw this first Aqua Tail. Art to the Oldie, not even going to bother to hit all of the bubbles, and yeah, able to spam out this next Aqua Tail, and that is going to be a GG. That is definitely going to be enough to take out Litleo. Litleo would have had to basically build up back-to-back moves also if they were going to take out the Seal, just because they would win CMP, but you know, if you didn't have two moves loaded, just wasn't going to be enough. So that is GG, and we have another 4-1 with a really interesting team, very adorably named. And yeah, the only loss was against Poochyena because Poochyena, it was like broken strong. Next little cup, by all means, try it out. I promise it is totally usable and fun to use. Maybe not the most meta thing, but fun to use. And yeah, Artioli gets a Rowlet for his trouble and some dust. And yeah, we are moving into the next set. So I definitely don't speak any Italian and can't read it or pronounce the words. I am not Italian at all. I maybe have a kind of marinara sauce for blood, being a New Yorker, but it actually isn't a translatable skill. It doesn't actually teach you any Italian at all. And the Italian that you do pick up as a New Yorker, from what I understand, is terribly, terribly pronounced. Not even close to the way words are supposed to be pronounced, and you are taught to pronounce things. You know what? I'm not even going to go for it because I can't think of anything right now because I'm tired. And I don't want to embarrass myself. You know what? Let's just go with I don't want to embarrass myself. So this is a Seal Shelmet core with a... with an Alolan Sandshrew in the back. This is actually Wallower's team. Shout out to Wallower, another creator here on YouTube. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of him and seen his stuff before. If you haven't, go check him out. He's actually a very high-quality content creator, even though like every team that he makes is kind of ABB in structure. Like, you know, it's... he's actually really talented as a team builder. Even though I'm not making it sound that way with the way I'm saying that, like, oh, all of his teams are ABB. I don't build my teams like that, but like, you know, at the same time, I probably have no idea how to either. So it's a different team building style. If you like teams that are different in style than the teams that I build, check out Wallower. He's actually great. So So yeah, this is a team that Wallower was running. I think that my viewer here built it independently and they just happen to be the same. At least I'm pretty sure that's what his comment on Wallower's video said. Pretty sure that's what was implied. So, yeah. Bronzor going to be brought out against an Alolan Sandshrew with energy. They throw the Psyshock. And yeah. Sandshrew just going to spam out the Night Slashes. Oh my gosh. This is going to be such a sloppy cast for me right now because I can't just... Sometimes I'll pause, right? When a move is being thrown or when a Pokemon comes out. And I'm like pretending I'm trying to remember the name of the Pokemon or remember the name of the move. But I'm actually just waiting for it to come out so I can just read what it is. Just like... And now I can't do that because it's all in Italian. And I don't even know how to pronounce these words very well. Like, I could try, but I would only butcher the language and humiliate myself. Like, Bene, yeah, I understand. That's nice, right? Because I watched season 2 of Master of None. But like that's like the limit of my Italian right now. And that was like a year ago that I watched that, so that's all gone. Oh, and I'll butcher this word too. Oh wait, what was it? Sferrazza. That's like where you have a studied indifference. It's like the way I behave pretty often. So, yeah, Seal into Dino. This is a terrible matchup for Seal. Well, it's not like that bad, but like, it ain't great. So, you switch out to Shelmet, and I'm pretty sure if I remember Wallower's video correctly, the idea is to bait out a fire type, if there is one, because fire is really, really devastating to Alolan Sandshrew. Yes, you know what? That is the idea. That is how you run an AVP team. When the lead is kind of neutral-ish, you switch out to something to bait out a thing that destroys the thing you're switching to so that the other thing that you've got in the back doesn't get annihilated by that thing. So Tepig uses some kind of move, and I just don't... I'm pretty sure that was a Body Slam. Yeah, and Embers the whole way down. So on the bright side, since Tepig is super squishy, it does have to shield pretty much everything. So, yeah, we were able to get a shield there. And now Seal is going to come out, kind of not wall Tepig's energy because it does know Corpso Contro, Body Slam. Dino going to come out, and that is fine. Going to bring Sandshrew out, going to resist these moves. Oh my gosh, Sandshrew and Dino have the same names in Italian? Huh. So, not going to be throwing a Night Slash, just going to farm the whole way down with Powder Snow. This is going so smoothly right now. I should definitely record videos as much as possible at like 12:30 at night. I'm so awake for it, and the quality of my casting is so excellent at this hour. So going to throw a next Night Slash. That is actually, should be enough to take out the Tepig, because Tepig, again, super squish, and that is going to hit for neutral. An Alolan Vulpix left over in the back, which is a pure Ice type, so if, yeah, if we're able to get to this Gyro Ball, this is going to annihilate, and it probably will. Neuropulsar. Definitely a Dark Pulse. Yeah, gonna spam out this Gyro Ball, and this is going to annihilate the Alolan Vulpix, and that is a GG. So yeah, managed to take that game. It's tempting to try to read these words. Oh yeah, this is by Simon Rope, by the way. Pretty sure it's not pronounced like that, but that's how I'll be pronouncing it. Because again, not confident in my ability to read Italian at all. Getting some queue time, so let me just scroll ahead a little bit into this next matchup. Seal versus Vulpix. This is definitely where you want to see the Vulpix. So maintaining alignment is going to be very important. The opponent sends out a Wooper, which is also a Wooper in Italian. Do they just not change the names of the Pokemon in those corners? I haven't watched every one of them. Just feels like every time I notice it, they're the same. Huh, maybe Niantic just doesn't program them to be different up there. Not sure. So going to respond by sending out Shelmet. Shelmet is a pretty decent response to Wooper. Like Wooper with a ton of energy can actually flip this matchup. And Shelmet and Wooper reach the body slams at pretty much the same rate. It's like three... it's 3 infestations to a body slam, right? 3 infestations, that is a 3-turn move, so 4.5 seconds to reach each one. And yeah, Mudshot into body slam is actually, geez, I think that's actually faster. I think Wooper actually outpaces Shelmet. So kind of tough. The opponent is going to switch out into Vulpix, which is fine. Simon's going to be able to get out this body slam, which is going to help him stall for time so that he doesn't get full farmed the whole way down. Vulpix is going to let that go, and yeah, Simon's going to bring in Seal. Going to spam out this Aqua Tail as soon as he's able to. This is either going to force a shield or take out the Vulpix, and yeah, the opponent decides to shield, which is interesting, especially because since the Vulpix is locked in, and since this is an Ember Vulpix, it is going to definitely get outpaced by the Seal. So another body slam going to come through, and yeah, as long as there is no severe lag here, Simon's going to be able to reach his Aqua Tail, even going to throw a little bit of extra energy. Not sure if maybe he lost track of the opponent's energy here, or if he's just opting to shield and full farm down, which might be a good move anyway. Seal with a bunch of energy can be pretty dangerous at times. So Wooper going to come back out, just going to spam out this Aqua Tail. From this range, I think this might be just enough to take out Wooper. If not, it'll be like a lick away. Nope, goes down, and there is a Vullaby left over in the back. Seal able to reach this Icy Wind. That is definitely going to help an awful lot. Going to debuff, and even though super effective, Vullaby is pretty tanky, so it doesn't actually do that much. And yeah, now Simon is able to switch in his Sandshrew, and that is just going to be enough to just Powder Snow the whole way down. Opponent going to throw a something. What the heck was that? Ripika? I guess that's Foul Play. I think 2 C's is like a CH sound, actually. Repicha? Oh my gosh, the lack of confidence on this. I don't know. I should have studied this briefly before doing this, so I could just kind of read some of the words, or just, you know, made sure I knew which move they were using, so that I wouldn't have to translate it. You know what? That was definitely the play, and I did not do that. I'm so unprepared on this. All right, Seal into Bronzor. So going to lick this Bronzor. Lick's doing super effective damage, and yeah, just the neutral confusions are doing about as much. Bronzor just super tanky. Simon's going to switch in Shelmet to catch this move. That is Peso Bomba. What the heck is that? Heavy Slam. And then switches out into an Onix, which is a super unusual thing to see here. I guess the opponent just had a Rock Throw Onix left over from Element. No. What was it? Open Little Cup? I think. No. Little Jungle Cup, I think. Onix had something kind of resembling play at some point. Super weird to see here, but kind of destroys Shelmet. Doesn't actually even need to shield. the Bug Buzz, and the Bug Buzz does a lot. This Onix is left pretty low, but yeah, that's unusual to see. So Seal gonna come out. I mean, this is most likely going to be a Sand Tomb, but if they had spent the Elite TM, they could also be throwing a Rock Slide. That is definitely a Sand Tomb. Seal's defense gets dropped, but able to lick the whole way down. Onix actually takes a while to lick down. It's surprisingly tanky. And yeah, Seal going to throw this Icy Wind. I did not see the name of the Pokemon that came out. Vento Gelato? Oh my gosh. That's cute. And it is a Squovet that came out in the back. So Squovet is the same as its evolved form. I forget the name of that. It has Body Slam and Crunch. So they throw the Body Slam bait. Yeah, Bullet Seed, Body Slam, Crunch. Exactly the same as Greedent. So yeah, I'm gonna throw this Night Slash into the Squovet. Gets the boost. That is fantastic. Could definitely shield this, especially now that we're boosted. This should be the Crunch. Like a Body Slam would not actually KO. That is a Crunch. And the opponent switches out into Bronzor. Switching a Bronzor into a loaded boosted Sandshrew, maybe not the best use of Bronzor. Simon gets another boost, builds up some excess energy. Just going to throw this next Night Slash. That is going to take out the Bronzor, and yeah, awfully close to another Night Slash. So the opponent would have to be able to throw a Crunch like really, really fast. Squovet is just not going to be able to get there fast enough. So yeah. Sandshrew going to throw this last Night Slash, and that is going to be enough to take out the Squovet. That is a GG. Really unusual, really interesting team from the opponent. Squovet and Onix in the back. Oh my gosh. I mean, you can pair up anything with a Bronzor, and it would be serviceable because Bronzor is just that strong. But yeah, unusual choices, and that is a GG. Gonna clear some notifications because, you know, why not? And up against Shiny Born to be Bear. All right. Seal into Bronzor. Again, Bronzor, very common lead here. Very common in the back line also. Very, very common everywhere. Teams that are doing this challenge seem to have it pretty often. So, gonna play this out the same way he played out the last Bronzor match, which is not to stay in with Seal too long. Just gonna build up energy and then switch out into Shelmet to catch this Heavy Slam. Try to draw out the Fire type, and it comes out. Yeah. Vulpix going to come out. This is a Vulpix running Ember, so they're going to be able to farm the whole way down if that's the route they decide to go. Just going to throw this first Body Slam. Gets a shield right away off of Vulpix. Definitely feels premature for me. I mean, Vulpix obviously isn't going to faint to a single Body Slam, so I don't know why they would have decided to shield the first move. Just going to throw this next Body Slam. That is going to get Vulpix pretty low. Actually, it looks like Vulpix would have survived two of those. Maybe, just barely. Seal going to come out. Spam out the Aqua Tail, but not before the Vulpix is going to be able to launch this Body Slam. Oh my gosh, that's not a Body Slam. That's a Flame Charge. I did not know Vulpix could know that. Definitely more normal to run a Vulpix with Weather Ball Fire. So Simon going to undercharge a little bit so that he's able to get a few licks in before Vulpix is going to faint. Now has a little bit more energy, and a Cottony is what comes out in the back. So this is fine. With an injured Bronzor and now a Cottony here, just going to debuff this Cottony. Vento Gelato. It's just funny because it has gelato in the name, and I think of that as like a food. But I'm sure it just means ice or something. Again, I don't know. I don't know. So yeah, gonna bring Sandshrew out into the Cottony, and yeah, Bronzor gonna come out now, and now this Sandshrew already has a little bit of energy built up, so gonna be able to unload. This just means that it was doing super effective damage. This is like so inefficient on the opponent's part because it was doing super effective damage with Powder Snow, and it would have had to throw not very effective Night Slashes, and yeah, now able to just unload super effective Night Slashes. So going from, like, you know, super effective fast move to now unloading super effective charge move, this has just gone very, very efficiently for Simon. Able to do a ton of damage to this Bronzor, and yeah, the Bronzor's going to have to throw a move here. Simon could definitely shield this and maybe go for a full farm down at this point. Opponent goes for the heavy slam. That would definitely KO. Gonna switch out into Seal, lick down. And yeah, gonna be able to lick this Cottony the rest of the way down. Manages to take that game. That is a GG. So a very clean 5 out of 5. Yeah, so all in all, a really fantastic couple of sets I was sent. Thank you all so much to everyone who sent in their games. And yeah, to anyone who is trying to play my silly little Season 11 challenges, feel free to join my Discord. So yeah, that's it. Next week, the challenge for next week. So upcoming next week, there is going to be Kanto Cup showing up along with Master League. And since there are still 2 days left of Retro Cup, you can actually play this upcoming challenge in either Retro Cup or Kanto Cup, whichever, because it would work for either. The challenge is to, in your team, use one of the Gen 1 starters as your lead. So either Venusaur, Charizard, Blastoise. I guess you could use one of the lesser evolved forms if you wanted to make your life particularly difficult. Not suggesting you should do that, but, you know, you can definitely do it. And for your backline, it must be Gengar and Nidorino. And if you're wondering why Gengar and Nidorino, what is the significance? It's this. If you've never seen this before, by the way, it's the opening to Red and Blue version, and it's quite old. I have no idea why they opted for this opening, by the way, why these two Pokemon. Nidorino also uses a Horn attack here, which does literally nothing to Gengar. But, yeah, that is the backline, and that is the upcoming challenge. Can you run that team in, like, you know, if you really, really can't afford Nidorino because it is actually quite expensive, I'll accept Nidoking because feeling generous right now and feeling kind of chill, especially after I botched that cast of that last game. So yeah, I would prefer Nidorino, but I'll totally accept Nidoking. That's fine. And yeah, that is the challenge for next week. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to do the things you know you're supposed to do at the ends of videos. You know you're supposed to do them. Please do the things. Thank you all again. I will see you on the next one.